Folayemi Group. It's called Folayemi Group because it has branches in the UK and it has branches here in Nigeria as well. The company does a lot of manpower services, other specialist support services. I have worked for this organization for 12 years. Okay. Today we're going to be looking at how to enable internal talent mobility. I'm going to hold this fancy object, which is very nice, and we'll start. We're going to start because of time. My organization that I speak on behalf, we're an accredited training provider, so we provide training in different parts of the world and on different curriculum, mostly soft skills, leadership, management, teachers training, training within education, and management training. Okay, we look at capacity building as strengthening skills, competencies, and abilities of people. We're going to do a quick icebreaker, which is going to be for about 2 minutes. And all I need you to do is to get a piece of paper and a pen. So imagine that you're on a deserted island and that you're going to be on this island for a whole year. Now, a deserted island, we all know what a deserted island is. So there's not going to be any Ubers, there's not going to be any railway or anything like that. Now, you can only take 3 items with you. The 3 items must be, one of them, a piece of music, a book. The book you take cannot be a Bible. I know most of you, if you have to be on a deserted island, you'd either be taking your Bible or your Quran or whatever religion you practice. But it cannot be one of those books. It can't be the Bible, it can't be the Quran. It has to be any of the book. And you can take one luxury item with you, not something like a boat. So you can't take a boat with you to get off the island. Now, these 3 items, what would you take and why? So, just quickly, 3 bits on a deserted island, what would you take? So you're on a deserted island. I don't know if we know the Third Mainland Bridge. Those years ago, there used to be a small patch, an island somewhere in the lagoon, and I think somebody went there and built something, but it decayed as years went by. Imagine being there where there's water, there's no electricity, none of those stuff. What 3 things would you take with you? Please write down quickly. If you have it ready, sorry? Which one? No, it doesn't have to be this 3. Oh, it doesn't have to be this 3. These are just examples. What 3 would you take? Essential. You're going to be there for the whole year, 1 year, 12 months, 52 weeks.
One item.
Sorry?
You said 1 item?
No, 3.
3.
You can take 3 items. Now, out of those 3 items, one can be a piece of music, one can be a book, one can be a luxury item. So, what 3 items would you take?
I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay, sir? Please stand, say your name and the company you work for.
Good morning, my name is Hafiz Shotande. I work for Globacom Limited.
Okay.
I think what I would love to take, 3 items I would love to take would be phone and a solar charger, then a blanket.
Okay, why?
Well, because with my phone, I think I always have everything, book, music, I will never get bored.
Okay.
And then I need the phone to charge because I don't want the battery to go down, so I need a solar charger. Even if it's on an island, there should be sun. If not, I won't be able to leave.
Okay.
So solar charger will help me to get my phone back for those periods I will stay there. And the blanket will be, if it is cold, I'm all alone. So like Adams, I need to cover myself.
Okay, brilliant. Okay. Who else is ready? Yes? Yes, ma'am?
I'm Eva Okoye from Lagos Business School. And if I was going to be deserted on an island, I would take my mobile phone, a water bottle, and a book, any book by Joyce Meyer.
Okay, brilliant. Okay. I will come back to some comments regarding all these things we're taking in a second. Okay, who else is ready? One more person. You're ready. She's ready. Are we all shy, thinking that, good, if I say what I'm going to take, we die on that deserted island? Or why aren't we saying anything?
Good morning. My name is Ukichi Anidobe. I work with NLNG. I'll go with, whatever I'm going to go with is good. I'll go with his phone and the solar charger. So well, I'll borrow his idea and then I'll go with the knife.
With a knife?
Yes.
Okay, right. Let's look at the three responses that we've had so far. The gentleman said he was going to go with a phone and a solar charger and a blanket. Fantastic. Because the phone, for instance, if it does die, solar energy, he can recharge that. And on that phone, he said he has loads of music already, he said he has loads of resources. The only thing that I think he didn't consider was the fact that he may not have network in that particular, on that deserted island. So he may not be able to make phone calls out, but he would have his music, he would have anything he stored on the phone, and then he would have his notes to make notes about the environment, what he sees, and then he has his blanket. If it gets cold, or maybe there's mosquitoes on there or something, he'll be okay. Okay, brilliant. And I'm assuming that he didn't mention the idea of food, because he's on an island, he's hoping maybe he can catch some fish at some point or the other, or eat fruits or something from there, I'm hoping. Okay? Now, concerning the next comment that we have, she said she was going to take her phone, a book like a Joyce Meyer book, and a knife. A water bottle. What's a water bottle for?
So that I can always take water
From the sea?
Yeah, from the sea.
Oh, God. I'm thinking about the phone again. There's no charger for the phone. So more likely than not, after 6 or 7 hours, the phone will be dead. So all the notes and everything you store on there, you won't access it, the music, that will be gone. Then the water bottle, I'm thinking, not beneficial really, because on the desert island, maybe there's coconuts, maybe there's some containers, maybe there's some other things. It will be push style. It won't be any of those fancy style of getting water. It will be, you understand, survival of the fittest. So, okay. Then the book, yes, you would read that. And by the time you read it over and over and over and over, you will know the whole world. You will know everything about Joyce Meyer. So brilliant. Yes, you're borrowing his idea. We know that's great. The phone and the knife, and then you said you're taking a knife. What's the knife for? No, I think it's to stab any wild animals or something.
One is, if I needed any sort of protection, yes. If I needed to cook or anything, I don't see myself doing the whole primitive thing of using a stone to go and hack anything. I don't think I'm that good.
You'll be surprised.
And then with a knife, it's sometimes the idea of security comes from knowing that you can. Mm-hmm. And worst case scenario, this is just me being a Stephen King person. Worst case scenario, if suicide became an option.
A knife? Oh God! Oh God! Oh God! It will never be an option. Okay, so we see that when we're talking about things like being on a deserted island, there's so many different things we need to consider. And some of the things that we think about, that we think are essential, we find out that they're actually not essential. So that goes on even in work and in our lives. So reassessing what we think is essential and what is not essential is important. Okay, thank you guys. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So we're looking at talent mobility. And when we talk about talent mobility, we need to look at what we say is upward mobility. Now, a decade ago, I think some people even still believe in this. Upward mobility was the name of the game in career advancement. So employees who performed well, demonstrated potential, they always strived to climb up the ladder. I don't know how old most of us are, but I believe we're over 30, and maybe there's some younger ladies here. But normally, if you look at people in those days, when they spoke about their careers, they talked about advancement as in going up a ladder. So somebody would be in a particular position, and they'll be looking about the next position. And for them, that was the mobility, it was upwards. But now, things have changed. Things have changed because of multiple generations that have come up, because of cultures, because of geographies, things have changed. Today's employee, they now span a multiple of generations, cultures, geographies. All of them have different needs and desires. Now, when we're thinking in HR and thinking about staff, I think we shouldn't think about them as just being people looking to go upwards. For them, it may be going this way. And if they're going that way, it's what are the different things that are meeting their needs. If we see here, they all have different needs. And to say nothing of the growing use of contingent workforces. You know, you have a lot of people who will be in a company for a year, and before that year, they know they're leaving you. They know they're leaving you. They're there for a specific reason. Do you know people come to your organization because maybe you train? Maybe you're known as an organization that trains the staff and develops the staff. They will come to you. That's a wise employee, by the way. They will come to you. They will get the job from you. Be diligent. Get everything. They're not looking for that upward mobility. So we need to look in our minds and see that every single person that works for us or works in our organization or works through our organization is not looking for an upward mobility. And the younger they are, you've heard about the millennials, they're not really looking for this. I want to become chief CEO. I'm starting off as an assistant tomorrow. I want to be manager next week. I want to be this. Income is different from position. You know, when you're thinking about position, some people are position driven, but you'll be earning nothing. While some people, they don't have the position, the so-called position, but they're earning a lot of money. Okay, so the shift has made career and talent management tougher. Now, challenges for employers. The challenge for employers is to find a way to keep employees, such employees who are mobile, how to keep them from getting bored. Because what happens when you have people who do not want to work in a certain confinement, but want to move into different compartments of your organization, if you keep them in one place, they get bored. And what happens when you get bored? You're not going to produce anything. Your productivity is going to be extremely low. Your motivation within the organization is not going to be there. And what happens when you have all this kind, you have reduced turnover? To retain the best employee is a competitive talent market. According to Gallup's recent policy on employee engagement, 32.6% of employees are engaged at work, while 50.9% of the employees were not engaged. 16.4% were actively disengaged. What does that mean? If you look at this percentage, so we're looking, if you look at this figure, 50% plus 16, let's just assume that's 70. That's 67% of a workforce that is disengaged or not engaged out of the whole 100%. If you have that percentage in your organization, the organization is not going to be functioning optimally. What it means is that 32.9% of the employees are the ones actually doing what they should do within the organization. When it comes to the bottom line, what do you think would happen? The bottom line of the organization, when they come to the end of the year, the financial year, they're thinking they should have increased a particular level, they probably wouldn't. Most likely wouldn't. Now, all these challenges are where we're looking and saying that how do we encourage internal mobility? In order to keep the best and your biggest and brightest talents, companies must learn to foster a new form of career advancement. Now, this is the bit that we have a challenge with. This is the bit we have a challenge with. It mustn't be about climbing up a ladder, that upward. It mustn't be about that. How do we do this? Let's look at the value to the organization if you determine to put it in place in the organization. It's absolutely true that not everyone is cut out for management position. You'd find people who say that I cannot work on a desk. And I can't sit down and work on a desk. In Nigeria at the moment, I'm not sure how many organizations actually encourage you to work from home. How many? Any organizations here? Your organization, what organization? Your organization. Which organization is that?
Red Media Africa.
What's it called?
Red Media Africa.
Red Media. Media. Yes. But is there a way they know that you're working?
So really, because you have deliverables, okay, usually we have work from home week.
Okay.
And then we have a day to work from home in a week as well.
Oh, that's excellent.
So you have deliverables, you have to deliver anyway.
That's
from
excellent.
anywhere in the world. So it's just for you to deliver on your KPIs and your deliverables. And that's it. So nobody's monitoring if you're in Abeokuta or you're in Magodo, as long as you deliver your work.
In your experience, how many people are abusing that in percentage terms? Do you think?
Well, I think it's maybe because of the kind of work we're doing. I think it's a case of, if I have a client event, I won't say because I'm working from home, I will go for my event.
Exactly.
If I have a client meeting in MTN office, I will go for my client meeting.
Yes.
But I think people are not abusing it in the company,
Okay.
because your line supervisor would ensure that you actually deliver on your work.
Okay.
If I send you something to deliver for 3 p.m., I actually do not care if we are working from home or not. So I think people are not abusing it. I actually think it makes me work better.
More productive.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, fantastic.
Other than
But that's one organization. Your organization as well? Oh, fantastic. Okay.
So in my organization, we encourage, because we have quite
That's about one garden.
thank you, we have quite a number of women in our workforce,
Okay. Yes.
and we recognize that a woman is a woman.
Yes.
You know, our leadership appreciates that, and they would even say to you, I would prefer to have more women working for us, because we know that they won't stay, because we know that they are stable, because we know that if you treat them right, they are the future of your organization.
Yes.
So I recall when there was the Ebola breakout, immediately they took a decision that babies cannot be kept in crutches.
Okay.
So immediately management was proactive, and they said we have to immediately ensure that all women working for us who have babies have to work from home until this issue is over. So just like she said the other time, the onus lies on the supervisor to ensure that you are getting value. So if you as a supervisor comes to me to say you're not getting value, then I throw it back at you. You understand what I mean? And then at times we also recognize the need when people have health challenge. I happen to have a serious accident in 2015. You know, that my hands couldn't walk for a period of time. You know, and even after I was recuperating, I recall that when I appeared in the office, they said categorically to me, Madam, you can't be here, go and work from home. You have to get well. You know, so working from home is part of what we do on a daily basis. Exactly. You see someone at work who is looking really, really fatigued, and you think you need to take some time. Guess what? Commuting can be a lot of trouble. Yes. You just speak with the supervisor, and at times supervisor just calls you to say, hey, I picked up this issue with my staff. I think I want him or her to work from home. Fine, as long as the deliverables are given. Also in time past, I've worked in an organization where my team was in the US. I was the only member of the team in Nigeria. Work from home is part of the policy, you know what I mean? And just like they have a day to work from home, we have a day to work from home. And we have a system where you can also apply to work from home for whatever reason. But one thing was very critical for us, health and safety. So for you to work from home, you must send me a pictorial view of where you are working from. Because we want to be sure that your working tool at home is ergonomic compliant. You know what I mean? It's well-aired and all that. So once you pass that test and we see that your working area from home is safe, and you have all the tools, you just log in the days you want to work from home. You set your deliverables with your line manager. Now your line manager can be in Australia, where we were set up, because that was the kind of system we were running. You agree on your deliverables. At the end of the day, your work from home is evaluated based on your deliverables and based on your output after you return to work. Okay, very critical for us.
Okay. One of the things that we'll find though in this conversation is that out of everyone that has spoken, that's 2%. So most organizations have not yet imbibed that idea of working from home. It would do us good too. Now, when we're looking at that everybody's not cut out for management, does that mean they don't have tremendous value to the organization? Because somebody is not cut out for management, does that mean they don't have value? No, it's not true. They do have value. We need to recognize the value in each and every one of our staff and see where we put them to produce and maximize the best. What is internal mobility? Rather than an upward mobility, many employers desire internal mobility, which Burson by Deloitte defined as a dynamic process for moving talent from role to role at every level, from leadership, professional rank to operational staff. Now what this means is that you may have a task, and rather than saying that, oh, only the manager can head that, there may be somebody in the organization who is actually excellent at that. He heads that team and runs with that project and brings it, even though he doesn't have the title manager. So he doesn't have the title manager, but he can manage the project, he can deliver on the project, we give it to him. And he's paid. He's rewarded for what he has done. Now, this new take on performance management is a key factor to successful talent acquisition and retention. When you allow people to operate in their areas of strength within the organization, they're more likely to stay. They're more likely to stay. But when they work in an area where they're not utilizing their strengths, or where they try and they're shut down, they would leave. So we need to understand, and this is why we do all this testing, what are the areas of the strengths of your employees? Your colleagues, the people who work in, what are their strengths? Are they in the right job? You know, there's a time in Nigeria, you study all sorts of things, you go and work in the bank. You go and work in the bank, and you wonder, why do some excel in it and why do others not? Because some of them are just working for money. They just want the money, so they're not dedicated to that job and they're not giving their all. Opportunities to develop. Employees want opportunities to develop, particularly the millennials. They are your largest workforce, the largest. According to PwC's report, Millennials at Work, I don't know if you've all seen that report or read that report, Reshaping the Workforce, millennials put a lot of stock into organizations that offer continuous learning opportunities. If there is opportunities for them to learn, a lot of millennials will stay in your organization. The report notes that 35% of respondents said they were attracted to employers who offered excellent training and developmental programs. The development opportunity that ranked highest, even more so, the e-learning, was working with strong coaches and mentors. You know, we've been talking about this a lot. I don't know if you noticed, they're talking about developing mentors, coaches. Let there be mentors within the work environment. Let there be coaches. Coach others, mentor others, share your strengths. Because that is actually important. Pick some people who you mentor over a period of time and pour into them. I think that's important within the organization. When you pour into people, they're more likely to produce more, even more than you. Because what you pour into them, they add what they have already, and then they produce more. Supporting internal mobility. Support internal mobility is crucial for boosting employee engagement, ensuring employers feel that they have a future within the organization. Make sure that they have the opportunity to take on different roles within the organization. You employ someone as a receptionist and you notice they have another skill, give them the opportunity to utilize that skill within the... Don't keep them in one position forever. Expose workers to stronger leaders. When you have stronger leaders in the organization, whether they're managers or not, whether they're management or not, expose them to these stronger leaders. Here are 7 tips that can help organizations develop an internal talent mobility program. The first one is encourage multi-directional career moves. Multi. So they could today, after working in a section for 6 months, they could move to another section horizontally up, which means up, and be there for 6 months. And next 6 months they could be down there. So encourage multi-directional career moves. This enables your employees apply their skills and talents where they make the most sense, rather than forcing them into traditional upwards flow. goals. The second one is help managers identify high potentials, not just high performers. You know, sometimes we focus a lot on high performers. We should also look at those that have high potential. The Corporate Executive Board defines high potentials as having the ability, aspiration, values, and commitment to rise and succeed in more critical positions. So identify those who are high performers, not just who have high potentials, not just high performers. They must have all these characteristics, but not every high performer has a high potential. You know, some people, they act in the job, but they're not with high potentials. High performers don't necessarily want to lead people. Some of those people that are high performers, they like walking on their own. They like running a race on their own with nobody else. They're so driven that they can't even see around. And you're better off with someone who has high potential and ready to work with others and make a difference. By identifying who the high potentials and high performers are, leaders and HR can best identify what type of mobility would suit their development needs. Another, set clear goals. As HR practitioners, as HR managers, set clear goals of what you want within the organization. Identify one or two specific goals around the internal mobility program that you have, and decide what goals, how you're going to measure it, and how you're going to evaluate the success. So if you took somebody from a particular department and you put them on a project somewhere else, how are you going to measure it? How are you going to evaluate the success? So make that clear before you even decide, oh, Mr. Mecca is fantastic with sales, even though he's currently working in administration at the moment. Let's put him over one particular project. How are you going to evaluate it? How are you going to measure and find the success? Be transparent. I know that's one of our, I don't know why I'm speaking like this, but I think a percentage, we're not as transparent as we could be. I think we could be a bit more transparent. Make it clear that internal mobility is important to your company, and why by translating your goals in the policy. It can be very detailed, extensive, or it can be basic. It can be that you are addressing some important points. Candidates can be sourced either internally, within your organization, the people you want to move. These criteria must include management approval, minimum time in a position, and other factors. When you move someone internally, you must determine how long they're going to be within that particular sector. They must be aware that they're there for 3 months, they're there for 6 months, how long. So be transparent. Settle on metrics that track back to goals. So identify what data you need to collect and analyze and measure the success. So things like your total turnover, total cost, employee engagement rating, things like voluntary turnover of high potentials, internal moves over time, track it. Another is provide learning opportunities that make sense. So if you're intending to put someone in a particular sector or department, make sure that the learning that is available makes sense. So the training or the skill building. Okay? Make this a part of your culture. Make it a part of your culture. For long-term success and sustainability, it's important to build and continue to invest in career management, learning, and coaching. So make this a part of your culture. Set a future career path with internal mobility. Now, with workplace demographics and employee motivation and desires shifting so dramatically, companies must adapt their talent, attraction and retention strategies to support ongoing engagement and performance, not just upward mobility. invest in high potential talents, give opportunity to employees in your organization to progress. Questions?
Thank you so much. My question boils down on how do I get to know my staff will be motivated with either a lateral movement than a vertical movement. And I give a typical example in the office, which I do quite agree with you. There's a lady that will realize she has a lot of potential, and they give her a particular role to play. The second day, she comes back and says she wants her former role. And so it's really difficult because the company cannot continue to do.
Why do you think she came back and said she wanted her former role?
Informally, personally, I think her former role gave her time. She felt, I think the new role would be more challenging or demanding.
Okay.
But I do not think she does not have the capacity and the potential to do that particular job. Maybe she was thinking, I will now close late, or I might not have my weekend, or something. I don't know really, but she just said she doesn't want again, and we can't force her to continue. So,
was there a mentor set up for her to help her through the process? Because this is a new process that she was stepping into. Did she have some people?
Okay, I think the way it happened was that somebody left. There are two of them doing
so it was an impromptu.
Somebody left. There were two of them doing the job.
Yes.
Somebody left. The workload was too much for the other person. So it's supposed to be internal mobility. Who has the potential that can fill that gap.
I like how you're using that word, internal mobility, but that's not what happened. That's not what happened. You didn't actually, the gentleman at the back.
But my question is, how do you know what will motivate the employee? How do I know that you will be okay with lateral movement and somebody else will be happy with vertical movement? Because in my head, I always feel everybody wants vertical movement.
I think, okay, the gentleman at the back, please. Firstly, we'll come back.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
The first, I would like to just say something about what he asked about. The thing is, engagement was lacking in that scenario. Nobody communicated this to this lady. They just jumped on her and then fix it for us. Consultation is key. And to my own observation and comment, the major problem that we have in Nigeria today is this mobility.
Yes.
And why it is so, I don't have HR background. I'm a core corporate communications person.
Okay.
And I'm here just to improve on my own leadership skill. Now, the problem is when you know someone has come into your organization, and this person is, because it's a personal experience.
Yes.
I came into an organization as a customer service person.
Yes.
That's the entry point as a customer service person. And then when I found myself in this organization, I discovered that I have this core competence in public relations and corporate communications.
Okay.
Now I started doing stuff for the organization.
By yourself, or they gave you room to do it?
By myself. Yes, they encouraged me. I spoke with the people in the corporate communications department. I started writing. I became a staff reporter.
Okay.
I started contributing to the newsletter.
Yes.
I started writing stuff, sending to my colleagues. Then the demand grew, and then everybody started asking for it. And I started that. And it was so obvious that this guy is rotting away in this department. And he became, a general case, and everybody was making a case for me. This happened to me some years back.
And when did they decide then? When did they wake up and say, okay, let's move him, let's enable him, mobility this way?
They did not wake up. What I took the bulls by the horn. So what I did external mobility.
Okay. Which means he went to another organization.
I moved myself out of that organization.
Okay.
My last day of work at that organization, I went straight to the managing director. And I told him, sir, are you aware I've resigned? He said, yes. He said, so painful. I'm using his exact words. He said, so painful. I heard about your desire to move to your core area of competence. We did not act as fast as we should have done. Well, nevertheless, this is a good news for you. This is something good for you. So congratulations, you can go.
Okay, now this is an example of what we do as organization. Because we're so stuck in bureaucracy sometimes, we're not able to make instant decisions that would actually benefit our organization. We rather just take a back seat and say, oh girl, what can I do? Oh, he's resigned anyway, he's gone. He's not yet gone. He's still in front of you. You know his core skills. There's something you could still have done. Going back to the question of the gentleman, it's obvious that in terms of internal mobility, that lady was never considered. It's because the organization got to a point where then you say, oh yeah, she has some core skills. Yeah, the organization was in need and you didn't want to recruit externally, and you thought to yourself, let's save cost and catch two birds with one stone. Let's move. Oh, she seems capable. Oh, come in here. No, you should have identified that before that vacancy came up. There should have been a relationship where you appraise the person, you notice all the different skills that they have, and you start to work, mentor them in that area. So not when there's a vacancy, when those two people were still sat there, she should have been given some roles in that sector if you thought she was suitable. It's because the seat was vacant. No, she would still be a receptionist. But encourage her to contribute, to add into that other department as well, and be a part of it. So that was the reason she didn't take it. That was the reason. Okay, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I also thought maybe there was no consultation. And that's
yes, that's what the gentleman said. Yes.
If there had been consultation, she probably would have taken it. I had a case in my office. There's a lady that works in HR, but she's finding it difficult coping with people because her makeup generally does not fit in. So she's having problem with people in the department. So I had to call her, and then we had a chat and we discussed. And I noticed that she's this sanguine type of person.
She's what?
She's sanguine person.
Okay.
So she can easily mix with people. She loves going out and things like that. So I said, where do you think you can best perform in this organization? And she said, anything that has to do with talking to people and things like that.
Yes.
So we put her in public relations.
Exactly.
And she's doing very well there.
Exactly.
So that's it.
Exactly. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I think I have to be devil's advocate a bit concerning this issue.
Yes.
Yes, there should have been some sort of succession planning and all of that, but it also depends on company size.
Okay.
And so
it's Global, you said.
Okay, so and it also depends on a lot also right on the individual. So you can have given the same opportunity to her, for instance, and what she would have seen is an opportunity for me to prove that I am above the previous job that I had. Because you've had people, you can have, so if someone drops on the shop floor today and dies, if you don't have a succession planning policy, somebody will be drafted in automatically. We have a succession planning policy, so at any point in time, for business critical positions, you have 1, 2, 3 persons who have been identified between HR and the discipline owner to succeed that person.
Yes.
But prior to that, if something happened, or if something happens today and none of those people is around or available or something, somebody will be drafted in. The onus rests for personal purposes on each of us as individuals, as employees, to make use of every opportunity to shine. So for me, what that just proves is that that particular person was neither high potential nor high performer. Because you cannot be given an opportunity and then turn it, and then barely how many days later, turn away from it.
Second day, you said.
After 2 days.
Exactly. So for me, she lost an opportunity, and you know how it is in management. Tomorrow, somebody's going to say, what about Tinuke? And they'll be like, no, she didn't do this. So she also lost an opportunity. But then what I wanted to ask, my own question was, talking about internal mobility, we have things like the rotation matrix, which is a deliberate thing.
That's good.
How does that play out? And then we have the internal open resourcing. So you have a job that comes up, a job comes up in, say, commercial. And yeah, exactly, internally. And then, so you have certain jobs that are definitely just for internal people, except if you can't fill it in. So what happens is you go look at the requirements for the job and see if you meet the requirements, and then you apply for it. Okay. So anyone in any field who probably has had an experience that is requisite for that job would apply.
That's internal mobility.
Exactly. So what I'm asking is, so these both fit in as internal mobility.
Yes.
So the next question is a question of data. The things you have suggested, what size organizations have they worked better in? So I'm worried because I represent two different companies. One is over 5,000 people large. So some things work better where the management to shop floor stretch is shorter.
It's shorter, yes.
Yeah, so where do they work better? Thank you.
I think that going to your question about the size of the organization, the size of the organization is easier. Internal mobility is easier when the organization is shorter. But at the same time, I've seen larger organizations who operate what you said, internal vacancies that are open to individuals within the company already, and it's only open to them so you can move. So they have a way of managing it because of the different departments and the heads of the departments. So the heads of the department are responsible for ensuring that there's internal, so it's not just straight from the top. If it works straight from the top, you're not going to know the skills and the values of every single person. So it's better if it's broken down and segmented. Okay. I was going to say something. Yes, ma'am. Okay. I've got the sign up there saying time up. Okay.
I think as regards internal mobility, the greatest challenge I've had with that is where there is a conflict within organizational requirements and the staff personnel focus. So for instance, you have the staff who's got a mix of skills that can be used in two various departments.
Okay.
And she's a talented mood. However, he has reached a point where he feels, I just want to focus on the other and I'm tired for whatever reason.
Yes.
Now, organization requirements says we need your skill here. She says, I'm tired, I want to be there. You know what I mean? So there's always that conflict sometimes. And at times as HR practitioners, we are at a loss as to how to resolve that conflict because now it's organization versus the people.
Yeah.
What do you have to say?
I think one of the key things that I also got from your conversation is that some people, they're not working. We need to think about job satisfaction. And some people are not working in a particular job or role just because, it's paying well, the job. They're satisfied where they are. You know, when we look at the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, when people's needs of different have been met, when they get to the area of self-actualization, they're actually not thinking of change. They're not thinking of change. So at that point, when you think you're offering them what is like a lottery winning ticket, they're thinking to themselves in the same scenario, no, it isn't. It may be too much pressure for me. It may require me to put in more. Maybe she has a baby. Maybe she has to be at home for 5. Maybe she looked at the job because, again, she wasn't consulted. You need to take, there are other situations around the staff that needs to be considered, even for a role, internal mobility. So I think what it is that some people don't want it because it's not going to suit their current lifestyle, or they feel they're not going to get the job satisfaction from it. And job satisfaction is important for them as well. So these are considerations. Okay, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Okay.